It's an At the Office edition of the East Bank Sports Show, serving up the hottest sports takes from right here in Cleveland, Ohio. It's your hosts, Noah, John, and Erik.
I won't stand for this. I want Mustard PED tested. Mustard has won 21 times in a row in the hot dog derby. I'm over it. I'm the biggest Mustard hater alive right now at this point. I want that boy tested. I want justice for ketchup. And I am sick. I am sick and tired of Mustard winning the Cleveland Guardians hot dog derby. I'm just kidding. I'm not done yet. I got beef. I'm not yet.
Here we go. Here comes more mustard.
There's a certain individual in the Cleveland athletic community that I still have a problem with. Mustard, the hot dog, has won 23 straight games, and I'm over it.
Under Section 216, Article 3, all three hot dogs on the Here we go! Deviations in the results in a meeting and forfeiture.
Welcome into another office edition of the East Bank Sports Show. Gentlemen, I was right. Mustard's a cheater. And we talked about it on Monday, but I needed to rub it in a little bit more with John and Erik. How are we doing, gentlemen?
Doing great, man. Good to be with you. Refreshed off of a vacation. You got a lot of Mustard energy. I want justice for Mustard. I think those stats still stand up.
He cheated.
Wow.
He's a cheater. Wow. Erik, go ahead. How are we feeling about the cheater Mustard? And how are you, man? How are you?
Well, I'm doing good, thank you. I got a few friends here with me. And listen, I've always been on Ketchup's side, although I'm sick of talking about this, and I tell Noah this daily. Fuck Mustard. Ketchup all the way. I want some justice, too. I agree. I'm on board.
Let's go. We have recruited a member to the hype train. John, you are now the odd man out. Let me pull up our display names real quick. Let me pull this so it can, get ran down the bottom real quick while I update some things. Guys, tell me about your week. Tell me about your day. Tell me how we are feeling. John, I'm going to let you have your minute real quick because you wanted to talk Stanley Cup. I want you to have your minute before we go in to 30-second takes.
Yeah, just showing a little love for hockey. Just real quick on Mustard, I'd say I feel like an Astros fan. I don't care about the cheating. I care about the results. But it was a hell of a series. I left for vacation. It was 3-0. I was burying the Oilers for dead. I didn't even watch game 4 and 5. And then I'm checking my phone. And I'm like, oh, my God, they're coming back. So I know the Panthers got it done in game 7, but one of the best Stanley Cups, certainly in my lifetime. Oilers left it all out on the ice. I mean, it's all you can ask for as a fan. I know we don't talk a ton of hockey. We don't have a team here professionally at the NHL level. But in the doldrums between like the end of NBA season and the start of football, where it's nothing but the dog days of summer, it was a refreshing treat. And congrats to the Panthers for a season well played and a cup well fought.
Gentlemen, John, I agree with everything you said. I'm not a big hockey guy, but I wanted you to have your moment because you wanted that to be the 30-second take. So I let you have your moment. And I may or may not have remembered to update the 30-second take to what it is now. So we're going to get into 30-second takes. Mikal Bridges gets traded to the New York Knicks for a haul of draft picks. And I want to hear your 30-second reactions because I have some thoughts about this, but I want to hear Erik. I'm going to start the clock. I'm going to let you go. 3, 2, 1, go.
My first reaction is disappointment. You know, a few weeks ago, we talked about trade picks for the Cavs, and I thought Bridges would be very, very good for us. He's fits a role that we need and a position that we need. And I'm disappointed that the East is further strengthened. New York gets another piece. closer. And, the Nets, they've been pretty awful, but what they have now with that trade and the KD trade is unbelievable.
Yeah, I agree with you. A stockpile of picks. John, you ready to go?
I'm ready. You can pull up the timer, but I actually like it. I'm to a point with the Celtics where my favorite team is the Cavs and my second favorite team is whoever's playing Boston, even if it's the Knicks. The Knicks got a lot better. They appeased Jalen Brunson. They got a roster that can win a championship, and I think the domino effect from this is going to be felt for a while. Not only in New Jersey, where they have Brooklyn, where they have a ton of picks now, but throughout the league. There's the whole, what's Durant going to do with Phoenix?
I'm going to let you go. I just had to cut you off. Go ahead. I don't even care. Go ahead. I like what you're saying.
No, and it's a good topic. I started to ask about 30 seconds being enough for this. Maybe we make it a 60-second round, but curious to hear your thoughts, Noah. But there's also the ripple effect through the league of what Brooklyn can do now that they have the picks. I'm hearing Durant could end up in Houston because they're going to move some stuff in Phoenix. This is going to be way bigger than just the Knicks get a good piece and look like a better team. By the time we tip off next season, the whole landscape of the NBA could have shifted.
Yeah, and I'm not going to throw the timer up for myself, guys, because I'm just honestly letting it roll. Shout out to you, Erik, though, for keeping it within the 30 seconds.
Because I'm the host and I can do whatever I
glad,
want.
Yeah, rules for thee, but not for me.
Honestly, I'm not doing it because I'm going to be quick. And you know what? Whatever. I'll throw it up. With both of you, the one thing that comes to my mind, aside from just reiterating your points, is, all those Lakers trades that we would see where it would be like a bag of chips, a G Leaguer, and cash considerations for Donovan Mitchell. Look at all the Knicks, another big market team, had to pay for, a third or fourth guy in a rotation, if we're being for real, right? Right.
I mean, he averaged 19 a game.
I mean, yeah, but he's still not going to be your second option.
No, but if he's a hell of a fourth option.
That's what I mean. He's like third, fourth option. Just depends how built you are. To me, it's just like, the delusion. I saw some more today, and that's what made me think about it. It was, the 3-person jersey swap, and it was LeBron, Anthony Davis, Donovan Mitchell in the middle. What are you giving us for that? You don't have anything I want as the Cleveland Cavaliers for that. That's just me.
I also think, too, this is something Cleveland fans need to hear and that we've said before, but people overvalue draft picks. I know in the NBA, if you get a lottery pick, it's the way you can get the next LeBron or your stud that's going to just deliver you to the promised land for 10 years. But people have this, like, this is my 401k, I should never tap it kind of feeling around draft picks. And I disagree. The Knicks have the first window they've had in decades to actually get over the top, and people are worried about a conditional pick and a protected pick and some first rounders way down the road. Like, win a championship. Nobody in Cleveland knows what the Cavs draft situation was after we won ours because we got it. What did we give up to get Kevin Love? Who cares? Right? So, it's a lot of picks, but like, geez Louise, they're picks. What are you going to get out of a pick? I don't know. What are you going to get out of this guy? We know 20 points a night.
It's about leveraging the future to win now. The thing is, you got to win now. So Phoenix now, with KD potentially gone, and they sent all those picks for him, and they're left holding the bag of, okay, the future we traded away, and now KD's also gone. That's the tricky part. You got to actually win the thing.
For sure. Gentlemen, let's move forward because we got a fun topic. We got the cover topic for the day. It's been kind of a debate, and we're coming up on Olympic season, feeling a little patriotic. 4th of July next week. Who wins? You're putting them both on the court. The Dream Team, the 92, the greatest team ever assembled, or potentially the even greater team ever assembled, the Avenger Team of the 2024 Summer Olympics. I'm going to let you guys debate. I'm going to kind of take a back seat because you guys are obviously a little bit more well-versed than me in this topic. But
I think you just called us old heads.
He did.
I did. I called you old heads on the last episode of the East Bank Sports Show as well, just so you know.
First of all.
And everyone before that.
You'll be all right.
I was born 1 year before this Dream Team, but go on.
I want to give you guys a trivia question and see if you can answer it. Okay. So in my research of, trying to have some inclusion in this debate, and I will, of course, I want you to tell me there's two players involved here. First, can you answer who was the leading scorer on the 2012 U.S. Olympic team?
Well, it's not LeBron. I don't know why D Wade is popping into my head. Carmelo? That would be my guess. I'll go with Carmelo.
John.
Yeah, that's a toughie. Was 2012?
Wait, was what's his name from the Spurs on the 2012?
Tim Duncan?
Yeah,
No, he
Duncan
was
was
not.
he? Oh, he
No,
wasn't?
he was not. Nope.
That's weird.
I'm even having a hard time
You
remembering.
can't Google. I hear you typing.
Yeah,
It's
I'm not.
trivia, not
No,
Google.
I'm not googling. I'm writing
You
down
wanna
my
see the
notes to come
roster?
back to. I don't even know who. I don't even remember who I was on the team. Like my mind went to Kobe for a minute.
Kobe was on the roster.
12 was LeBron's first, right? Olympic gold team.
Yep.
Okay.
That's why I'm using them as my example and talking about this.
I think I got to stick with Carmelo since it's the only thing he's ever won in his career.
The only player I can name other than those is Chris Paul. So I'll say Chris Paul.
You are both wrong, averaging 19.5 points. Easy money sniper Kevin Durant.
He popped into my head briefly, but I don't know. He was young.
Similar question. Different team.
Was he a
The
rookie
Dream
in
Team.
2012?
He might have
No,
been.
he missed his
No.
rookie year. Never mind. It was okay.
Similar question. Different team. The Dream Team. The 1992 Men's Olympic roster. Who was the leading scorer for the Dream Team? John, you go first with your guess.
Karl Malone.
Okay.
Good one. I would say
Unless it's a trick question.
I'm going to go with I really want to say Larry Bird, but that can't be it. I'm going to go with Magic Johnson.
Karl Malone averaged 13 points. Magic Johnson averaged 8 points. The leading scorer for the Dream Team, Charles Barkley with 18.
All right. The round mound to rebound.
Yeah.
I like it.
All right, man. Let's get into it. Dream Team, Avenger Team. Enough fun. Let's debate. Give me your case, starting with Erik.
Oh, man. I have no idea. Because here's the thing. When the questions first posed, what pops into my head immediately is Avenger Team. They're too talented. The way the game's played and the way that athletes are managed health-wise these days are vastly different from 1992. But the question is this team assembled just going to be a team that scores points, this 2024 team? They would be playing a team that actually plays some pretty stout defense. I think the bigger question is not who wins, but what era of referees are we getting? Because that makes a really big difference in how I answer this question. If we're getting 92 refs, then I probably go with the Dream Team. I think they are more physical, and I hate that argument because it was a more physical league, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but these guys also weren't built like guys today. They didn't have LeBron's 1.5% body fat. To your point, when you're talking about Charles Barkley, I mean, he's out there like Flubber. But
That's crazy.
but they played hella defense. That team.
Yeah.
So you got Patrick Ewing, Larry Bird, Scottie Pippen, Michael Jordan, Drexler, Malone, Stockton, Barkley, Johnson. I mean, we're talking all-time greats on that lineup. Now, if we pull up the 2024 lineup, That's and I won't read through them all, but you got Steph Curry, Devin Booker, Anthony Davis, Kevin Durant, Joel Embiid, Halliburton, Drew Holiday, LeBron, Kawhi, Jason Tatum. I mean, I don't know. Are half those names, are we going to talk with reverence like we do of those 92 names in 20 years? I don't know that we will. Yeah, you got LeBron. Kawhi, he's not even going to play. Let's be honest. He won't be healthy for it. I don't know. I really do lean towards the dream team, even though I think that this modern team is incredible. Now, if you take the modern team with everyone at their peak in terms of, LeBron's pretty old, Steph's getting pretty old, then maybe they have a shot. But I really think it's going to come down to defense. I'm taking the dream team in a 2-point winner.
John, I want to hear what you have to say.
I had a similar thought. First thing I would say is it's too early. We live in an era where everybody wants to crown the next best thing. So to crown these guys as champs before they've even tipped the ball off in the Olympics is premature. Yes, they should rout every team. We should win the gold, but they got to do it first. But once they do, I'm right with Erik. I kept coming down to like matchups and thinking about the game, and I was like, nobody from this year's team could bang with Patrick Ewing in the paint. But everybody on this year's team can shoot the 3-ball from 30 feet. So the edge in rebounding and defense is going to go to the 92 team because they're going to be tougher. But Curry by himself just chucking threes from half court, going in all the time with everybody else open to shoot. And LeBron's no slouch. I know he played in a different era, but that guy's as physical dominant as a player you'll find in NBA history. So it's not like he's going to get bullied. I think I got to give the nod to the team with Jordan that actually won the gold, but reserve the right to change my answer in 2 months when the games are over. But it's a toss-up. Honestly, if they actually played, I think the current team is going to beat the 92 team because the shooting is so much better. But if they let them get rough with the defense, that could change in a hurry.
So I just want to give some background real quick. Just talking about what we have going on and everything here. Your 2024 Olympic basketball roster is LeBron James, Stephen Curry, Kevin Durant, Joel Embiid, Jason Tatum, Kawhi Leonard, Devin Booker, Drew Holiday, Anthony Davis, Anthony Edwards, Bam Adebayo, Tyrese Halliburton.
Mm-hmm.
The 92 Dream Team, for those who don't know, Charles Barkley, Chris Mullin, Christian Laettner, Clyde Drexler, David Robinson, John Stockton, Karl Malone, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, Patrick Ewing, Scottie Pippen. I, like Erik said, hate the argument of, the soft calls, the soft, this league is soft compared to back then. It's all fine and dandy. You give me Joel Embiid, LeBron James, Stephen Curry. Who else do you even think would be a starter there? Regardless, I think the talent of today's NBA, as much as I love watching old school highlights and I love, the respect for the league, I'm a sneakerhead. Michael Jordan is a big part of a lot of things that I enjoy, today in my 20s. I got to give it, if I'm putting them both on the court, with the 3-point ability, where it's not like this team isn't physical. I mean, Joel Embiid's a former MVP at this point. I got to give it to the Avenger team, man. Give it to the Avenger squad. If you're putting both teams on the court, say 50-50 reffing, a little bit of old, a little bit of new, I got to give it to the Avenger team. I just think it's more talented front to back, and not because that the Dream Team was obviously superior talented, supremely talented, but I just think the league's more talented now in general. What do you guys think?
Well, here's the thing that I think the 2024 team is missing. On the Dream Team, you had at least one guy, but I think multiple guys, that when they walked onto the court, they looked into your eyes and they were fucking stone cold killers. And I don't see, reading that list, a single guy in 2024 that I say is a killer. KD's not. LeBron, I think he is the best overall player of all time, but he never had that killer instinct. He never had the Mamba mentality. That's what's missing from this 2024 team. I think the talent's there, but when it comes to killer instinct, when the game's on the line, that's the thing about Michael Jordan. I'm not a Jordan fan, but if you watch him and watch the game, I watched 62 hours of film for this topic. I'm just kidding. I totally made that up. But Michael Jordan was a man apart because he didn't want to just beat you. He wanted to destroy you. He wanted nothing left of you. He wanted, when the next time you played him, you were inside your head with that fear. I don't see that from the 2024 team.
I agree. And that's what makes it tough. I honestly think that the Joel Embiid thing for me pushes it a little bit over. Just because you got one guy who can bang with the size who has a post game. Because you look at some of the studs like, Charles Barkley, Patrick Ewing, like we listed them down in the paint. The bigs on the 92 Dream Team were no joke. These are grown-ass men who defined an era of bully ball before it became a cool catchphrase.
Pippen on defense.
Yeah, Pippen was a maniac on both ends of the court. I mean, but Embiid, you're right. I mean, a 7-footer who can stretch like that, like Ewing can't guard Embiid, I don't think. He guarded a lot of people, but that's going to give him trouble because Embiid doesn't have to post up and get to a dunk. He can score from a lot of different places. One other thought that I did have, a little bit in the middle, so to speak, but I think there's also a team in the middle of these two that never really came to fruition for the Olympics that I would take over both teams. I didn't go so far as to put together a roster, but if we had a team that had maybe a different era of Jordan, I know he was like an all-star then, but he was getting old, but if we had a team with like Vince Carter, Alonzo Mourning, Kobe Bryant, Allen Iverson, they could play in both eras. We had a lot of Kevin Garnett, Steve Nash. I mean, there were a lot of guys. Actually, Steve Nash, I think, is Canadian, but you get the point. There's a missing generation in the middle because guys got out of love with going to the Olympics and playing basketball. But there's a Tim Duncan, Kobe Bryant-led American Dream Team that we missed out on right there with Iverson at the point that I think would have given both of these teams nightmares. With Tracy McGrady in his prime,
yeah,
and Vince Carter in his prime, like, look out.
I think the discourse of this whole thing is so interesting, right? Because it is really almost two types of play style. I still give my nod to the Avengers team for all the talent that's there. I mean, I could go down. I was going to go through some of the stats and stuff like that, like what LeBron was putting up. I have another trivia question for both of you real quick. I forgot there was one more. How many Olympic gold medals has Stephen Curry won?
0.
Gold medals?
How many Olympic medals in general has Stephen
medals?
Curry?
I thought you said gold medals.
I did at first. I'm changing it to medals.
1.
Yeah, it's 1 or 2.
He has never been on an Olympic team before. This is his first time. That's another one that I thought was interesting. I got a lot of nice little tidbits of basketball knowledge to come out while I was doing my research for this.
I will say one thing, though, I wanted to come back to. You talked about the stats, and stats do matter. They're the only way we can tell this story. But what LeBron did in XYZ season and what LeBron would do with Jordan staring him in the face and defending him at half court isn't the same. I don't know how different it would be, but LeBron is not giving Jordan 38 every time they play. I'll tell you that right now.
And let's not forget the stats that are padded too if you're looking at like career stats because they're playing longer these days.
But you could say that way too. But I think, if we were in this hypothetical world, right, where you as LeBron James could play Michael Jordan and really have the opportunity to prove, 1v1 in a game of 5, but you're facing each other, obviously, that you are the best player. You don't think that's it's giving both players an edge. Don't get me wrong. But you don't think that hits another gear and all of the players on the Avengers team No?
We've only seen it once from LeBron, and that was 2016.
Yep.
That's the only time we've seen that mentality from him.
But do you need to see that in today's NBA because of how versatile the game is now, too?
Yes. Because you're facing killers on the other side.
Correct.
No, okay. I wasn't asking about this game specifically. I'm more so asking in terms of like the NBA as a whole.
No, I mean, especially where LeBron's at in his career, he's so good at the little things in the game. Like if you're a true basketball fan, he excels in things that you're not even looking at, like his moving his team around on the floor when he doesn't even have the ball kind of stuff is amazing. And that's what's going to make him play forever. He doesn't need to be the point man, but yeah, against that team, shit.
No, against that team, you would definitely need another mentality. I just think, we make this point that you don't see like the Mamba mentality as much. And I don't know with how the modern game works if you always need to see that because of, the technical and the analytics side and everything that plays into the modern sports game in general.
That's true. I just think that these modern guys, that's the one differentiator in favor of the original Dream Team. These guys haven't faced that, not from a team. Patrick Ewing wanted to kill the person he was playing. Michael Jordan would literally destroy anybody who got on a court with him just because they had on the wrong warm-up in pregame. That doesn't strike me as something that Kevin Durant's just going to shrug off and play through. You know what I mean?
He's going to tweet about it later.
Yeah.
On the burner. Which burner, though, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm also irritated, too. Like, there's a couple holes in the roster. Like, if we're really playing this game, Devin Booker doesn't belong on in the game. He's a really good guard. But, like, stop. You know what? Devin Booker would get – John Stockton would eat him for lunch. And, I mean –
There's a few names on here.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd say that even about Jason Tatum.
Yeah, I'm the biggest Tatum hater ever. And how he's been seen only carrying the Larry O'Brien since winning the championship just irks me because he wasn't even the best player on that team.
And he had to fake that fucking Kobe photo. Like he had to do the same thing. Come on, get out of here.
Gentlemen, I'm going to cut us to commercial break. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more Olympics and then see where we're at time-wise and maybe get into a third topic. We'll be right back. And we're back with the East Bank Sports Show at the office with my boys, chopping it up with the old heads, John and Eric. And I can say that now because we introduced a new host on the regular, just the East Bank Sports Show on Monday. So shout out to Devin for joining us. He should be joining us more frequently now. Wanted to, do a little trial run with him first, but we all, I think, enjoyed his time and his presence. So I think he'll be around a lot more. Make sure while you're listening to hit that download button, subscribe, any of that. It would really, I know I'm laughing at the comment too.
Put that comment up. You can't just put the other ones up.
I was going, you know what, man?
There we go. Tim, you're my man.
I'm going back into my spiel. Please hit the download button. It helps us out a ton grow. Check out all the other shows on the Fanatical Elves Network. We got Lou, we got Steve, we got John, we got Sam, all doing a bunch of different content. Really helps us out to grow the brand. Guys, I'm apparently a puppy, and that's fine, according to Tim. Shout out Tim for always tuning into the office editions. Let's get in to what did he say now? My sons are your age. Yeah, that's probably, I'm 23. So let's get in to what is your favorite Olympic event. Summer or winter, does not matter. I want to hear what you guys have to say, actually. I was going to cut you guys off and go first. John, go ahead. What's your favorite Olympic event?
Yeah, I didn't get a comprehensive list, but I just started thinking through the summer or winter games. And the only thing I stumbled on was, should I pick my favorite sport or should I pick my favorite sole event? Because there's a lot of sports that I don't want to watch 90% of the time, but then the good stuff comes, you really want to dig in. There's some weird ass Olympic sports, by the way. Let's ski around for 5 minutes, lay down and shoot at a bullseye. Let's run around a track, except we're jumping through a pool. I don't know. I don't know where they came from. Another topic for another day. My favorite event is the men's and women's 100-meter and the men's and women's 4x1 on the track. You get crowned fastest man, fastest woman alive at the end of the gold medal round. It's 9 seconds of pure adrenaline, and the buildup is just amazing. But it's only 10 seconds, and a lot of the rest of the track and field events are a little boring, to be honest. I don't want to watch people run 50 laps. I'll tune in for the last couple. The only Olympic sport where from the time it comes on to the time it goes off, I watch it consistently, and I don't care if Americans are playing or not, is curling in the Winter Olympics. I don't know what it is, but every 4 years, I watch every match. I watch every end. If curling is on, I am watching it, and I can't get enough. I watch it for literal hours at a time when I'm sitting on my couch scrolling through my phone. So men's and women's 100-meter is the best events, but like the best Olympic sport overall, just sit down and watch. I'm going to go with curling.
Curling is a good answer. Erik?
Not what I expected, I'll say. I thought through it in a similar way, and I was trying to figure out what my favorite event is. And I really didn't have one. I'll be honest. And this isn't a cop-out answer, but when I watch the Olympics, I really like to tune in for the storylines. It's when it's Usain Bolt, I was a hell of a track and field fan because he was so electric and fun to watch. Throughout his very long career, I love the swimming events because watching Michael Phelps is absolutely incredible. You got Katie Ledecky trying to make history too on the other side. When it comes to gymnastics, the storylines, Michaela Maroney was great. Simone Biles now as maybe one of the most storied Olympians of all time. I'm there for it all, honestly. I don't have a sport that I sit down and it's must watch. I kind of tune into those primetime events. Sadly, I'm a huge soccer fan, and it's unfortunate that Team USA, we don't typically have much to watch on the men's side, but we do on the women's side, which will be interesting again this year. Alex Morgan was left off that roster, and a lot of those names that were those World Cup winners have really aged out. So I'm excited to see how these young guns perform come Olympics. But yeah, for me, I'm all over the place. I'm tuning in for storylines, and then I'll catch some of my favorite sports along the way.
Yeah, so I wanted to hear what you guys would say because my answer was going to be depending on what you said. And I thought for sure one of you would say basketball, so I automatically picked something that wasn't basketball. So I will answer with the cop out of basketball because that is what has drawn me to the Olympics for years and years, from when I was a little kid up until even 2024. Obviously, it was our main topic today. I'm going to go out with a little bit of a curveball. If you know me, I don't think it's that much of a curveball, though. I'm going to go powerlifting. No, powerlifting. I almost did answer flag football. Just to be funny.
Flag football or the hot dog race or something. Start talking shit about mustard again.
Mustard's a cheater. No, powerlifting. You guys, I think, both know I'm big into lifting and that kind of thing. I played college football, go to the gym still, 4 or 5 days a week. So the powerlifting is always fun to, have tuned on. It's not an all the time watch, but being able to see, some of the crazy stuff that happens with powerlifting, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. I think it's really cool too that you get, I really agree with Erik a lot about the primetime stuff for like the in the moment. Like when Phelps was in the pool, that was my favorite event. When Usain Bolt was running, that was my favorite event. When the women's gymnastic team is dominant and is supposed to sweep gold and I watch a lot of gymnastics, but I can't put on the gymnastics meet when France is playing Germany and the Americans aren't in it. I can't watch hockey when it's Belarus versus the Czech Republic. Like I just don't give a shit. I like those because they're Americans and when we dominate, I love watching us dominate, but like, I think Muhammad Ali was a boxer on the Olympic team before he went pro. That would have been must-see TV. I can't name a boxer on the team now, so I'm kind of out, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Do you guys do the same thing I do where I try to watch as much as I possibly can. I mean, I'm recording shit, I'm setting alarms, like I'm trying to watch literally as much as I can in that week. And I also constantly have a tab up on my phone on Google of the medal count to make sure like we're in front. Like sometimes, like when it was in China was leading for like the first day, and then we take over and I'm like, oh man, is this the year that US doesn't have the most medals? No, of course not. It never is. But are you guys the same way?
100%. Even when I was a kid and wasn't into sports like I am to this day, I'm talking like 7, 8, 8, I guess would be like the first one I would recollect.
So like 10
was
years ago?
all into it. Huh? Did you say 10 years ago?
Maybe.
Whatever, man. No, I've always been like that too. I've always been kind of enthralled by the spectacle of the Olympics. I'm going to put this up because I think it would be interesting for us to talk about for a brief minute. I don't know if you guys are checking the comments as I am, but this is something I think that fits our topics that we talk about. I think they should host the Olympics, but you can do as many steroids as you want. Now, we'll just leave it at PEDs before we get into the topic, because I think it's a good off the hip topic, and then we can go back about our favorite events. Mustard is on roids, wouldn't qualify, and I agree, Tim. Thank you. Anyway,
I like that comment. They already do this. It's called the Russian and the Chinese Olympic team.
Russian Olympic Committee, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, excuse me, Russian Olympic Committee. No, but this makes me think of a take that I think we've talked about it briefly, but since we're on the Olympics, I want to throw back out there. They need to do a pros and Joes some way to show how average the common man is. Like you watch a woman spin in circles and throw a hammer, and you're sitting there thinking, I could throw a hammer 80 meters. And then if you have and it doesn't even have to be normal people, like John and Noah get out there and throw the javelin, sure. Let Tom Brady throw the javelin. So when the Olympians still throw it 20 meters farther, you're like, oh man, they're really good. I think that would give some perspective, because I watch the triple jump and I'm like, yeah, you can tell it's far, but it's just not hitting because I'm not there and I don't have anything to compare it to. When I realized that with my triple jump, I wouldn't even make it to the sand, then I'd be like, oh, wow, this is really far.
Yeah, I've been throwing this. I'm determined to make this happen, John. The three of us work in advertising, and for Noah and I, we actually are hosting the Olympics on our Telemundo platform.
Oh.
And I've been saying we need to get one of our hosts to do, some of the events, whether it's 100 meters in a pool or whatever, so that you can put that up and have an idea. You could have the running clock. You're going to be waiting a long time for our anchor. But I think you're absolutely right. In terms of this question, I'm a big proponent of it in all sports. I say let them do whatever they want. When it comes to sports, hitting a baseball, putting a basketball through a hoop, whatever, steroids doesn't automatically make you, it's not like the show The Boys where you hit up that shot and you're automatically a superhero. It doesn't work that way. You still got to put in the work and you still got to be athletic. So let them rip.
I think it would be interesting. I don't think they should do the Olympics in terms of the greater, having like LeBron James on steroids or whatever. I get the integrity of the game. I'm kind of on the other side of how you feel, Eric. Keep the game as integral as possible. Obviously, we see these athletes do crazy things without it or whatever. That being said, I think it would be so interesting. We've kind of talked about this on the show before. John, you've kind of brought up that topic that you were saying, like the average Joe versus the Olympian, or however you would want to phrase that. Same thing is like this, like letting the Olympians, have everything, every tool in the box, legal or not, to go full-blown Olympian. I mean, think about some of these power lifters and stuff, like going back to that, for example, how crazy some of this stuff could really get. I think it's interesting, don't get me wrong. I don't know to what scale you could really do it. But, that's kind of my 2 cents on everything. What other events, guys, do you look forward to? Eric, I know you kind of said any and all. It kind of depends. I look forward to soccer this time of year, and I'm not much of a soccer guy. I'm trying to think of what else. I turn on. I watch everything too. Swimming, volleyball comes to mind. John, what about you? I know you have the volleyball girls in your family and stuff. So
Yeah, we hit the biggies. I'm with Erik though. I'll watch all of it. Like the decathlon and the heptathlon and pole vaulting. Like I'm down for all of it. I just try to consume as much of it as I can. I usually get burnt out before the closing games and kind of peel back some. But you hit the biggies. There really isn't. There's a few I could do without. Synchronized swimming, I don't find myself watching. Water polo always seems exciting, and then 3 minutes in, I'm like, okay, this is slow soccer.
Soccer and water. It's just weird. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just odd. But on the whole, man, I'm down for all of it. And like I said, depending on where we have a dominant athlete, I could get behind somebody who's really good at archery. If we're favored to win the gold somewhere, like I'll watch that too. So
I gotta tell you, the volleyball does pull me in, both on court, the indoor, as well as the sand volleyball, like the 2-versus-2. I forget who the two women were for US several years ago.
Misty May Trainer and Carrie Walsh.
Oh man, I followed them
underrated.
like you would not believe.
Love them.
And it's probably the tall, beautiful women that sucks me into the channel at first, but I stay for the volleyball. It's really fun to watch. Especially, I think I like the beach volleyball more, but yeah, that one sucks me in for sure. Interestingly enough, Noah's sport of choice is basketball. And even with Dream Team, Avenger Team, whatever, I think it's my least favorite sport to watch in the Olympics because they don't have the competition there. And it's really boring for me. I don't want to sit down and watch a several-hour basketball game. The immediacy of some of the sports and events are what draws me in a lot of the time. You have an answer of who wins, gold, silver, and bronze within, if not minutes, seconds. Yeah. I like that part of the Olympics. I'm contradicting myself because I do like soccer, but for me, I think it's the competition combined with that. I'm not a basketball fan.
I want to give a shout out to one of my favorite sports, and I was trying to think because I didn't really talk winter. Bobsled, baby. Who doesn't like the good bobsled on the TV during the Winter Olympics? I love it. That was one of my favorites when I was younger.
Were you a Lolo Jones fan?
Okay, I don't know names of people.
So she's not just a famous bobsledder. She's probably the most famous Olympian to not have won gold or a medal, period. She was a hurdler and should have won gold, but clipped a hurdle. And then, she did win in winter, but she switched over and became a bobsledder to continue like her Olympic career. She's more known for the fact that she claims to be a virgin, outside of the Olympics, and she's like our age. By our, I mean John and I. That kind of has overshadowed things, her personal life. But she was fun to watch. She's a character.
I like skeleton too. I mean, you take the protection of the bobsled away, you're going 90 miles an hour with your chin 3 inches off the ice. That is wild stuff to me too.
So I saw the question down there, but we haven't answered. Summer or winter? What's your go-to?
Oh, summer for sure. I like the summer events more. But I will say the winter is kind of a nice change of pace when that comes about. You know what I mean? We're kind of all cooped up, basketball's on, and that's great, but it's, it's normally February, right? January, February for winter.
Yeah.
I think Feb usually.
We're still in the heat of the NBA regular season, and that can be entertaining at times, but not all the time. I think it's a nice, post Super Bowl high that you only get 4 years in, every 4 years. What about you guys?
I think winter's better, like start to finish, because there's more watchable stuff. Like there's nothing in winter I can do without. Yeah. Summer has better events. Like I just said the 100-meter men's and women's is like my favorite event in all of the Olympics. It's got more big moments with the pool and at the track. But I always, this is the other thing I hate, the bait and switch where the sports, but they don't start till later. Like the Olympics runs for 16 days. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to get to watch track and field. And they're like, starts on day 11, but we'll take you to the pool for synchronized swimming. And I'm like, oh no.
I agree with you there. I disagree. I think I would pick summer. Part of my problem with the Winter Olympics is part of my problem with the Olympics in general. We have got to stop sending the Olympics. It's corrupt as hell is what I'm trying to say. And, the last several Winter Olympics have been mired in the absolute shit show of where it's hosted. To having to make fake snow and it being awful in Russia, and rooms that are like made of cardboard, basically. The Olympic Committee, just like in soccer, UEFA and FIFA, they all need like oversight from government. And I'm not a big like government overreach kind of guy, but I understand it at times when we see that, the most non-democratic places on planet Earth are getting awarded games because they're shoving money into certain people's pockets. And that just it ruins the games a little. And that's happened more frequently. It's harder with places you need snow and mountains than with summer events.
I remember when I was younger watching a documentary on the Brazil Olympics and all
Rio.
of the like Rio, all the phantom structures that are left behind, and there's like they're just sitting there, and all the stuff that they had to build for it's crazy for sure.
They,
how
they put their populace in even more debt. These are not countries, a lot of them, that have great GDP or quality of living. And like you said, yeah, they build all these mega structures that are beautiful at the time and then don't get used. I'm not saying it should always be in America. I'm not saying that at all. Maybe we switch it between us, the United Kingdom, and France. But countries like that, Europe and America, they have facilities already in place that we can adapt to the Olympics instead of leveraging the futures of their citizens. It's so unethical.
Yeah, I'm with you, John. What about you? You're quiet on this topic. I feel like you have good input when we start getting into these deeper topics. So I want to hear what you have to say.
No, I'm with Eric. I think it's BS. I would love it to be on a rotation where the countries that are stable and have the infrastructure get it. It also, I could see the other side though, because it disqualifies some of the smaller places that would never otherwise have a chance. But I mean, they do the same thing with the World Cup sometimes, like the whole Qatar World Cup. I was like, what kind of? It's gonna be 117 degrees during the day for
Right.
these.
I remember that too.
And how many people died building it?
Like,
I mean,
stuff just doesn't make sense. I hate to be the guy that's like, oh, we should always just have it in the United States, but like, we have everything you need in 20 cities to do this on a regular basis. There's other places that can host it. What they really ought to do is focus on giving these cities more time to host, make the announcement 16 years in advance, 20 years in advance, so you can figure out a way to incorporate the Olympic Village into life. If the places the athletes stay become apartments and condos, and they did a good job of that in Atlanta. The Braves played in a stadium built for the Olympics for years. It wasn't the most beautiful thing in the world, but at least you got some more use out of it. Because I agree, man, spending billions and billions of dollars for a really good 2 weeks and then having ghost towns is not ideal for anybody.
I want to give a shout out real quick, and then I'll let you go, Eric. I'm sorry. I just want to give a shout out to the whole Olympic Village in Atlanta. I got to visit that back in 2021. It was really cool to see as a sports junkie. I just wanted to shout that out real quick. Go ahead, Eric.
Have you guys seen the newest controversy and these Olympics are in Paris? I mean, it's not a third world country, but they wanted to be environmentally conscious. So they did not include air conditioning in the Olympic Village. And now the United States is shipping their own air conditioning units because athletes cannot be sleeping in 85-degree weather. That doesn't make any sense. Being less green now. It's such a debacle. It's become so politicized. That's the annoying part.
You know what my favorite part is? And this, gets recycled in the news every time we start talking about Olympics. The cardboard beds. You guys know what I'm talking about? The bed frames that are made out of cardboard so they don't have, intercourse or whatever
Which they still do.
reason.
Olympic Village is like getting it on more than geriatric homes.
Jesus Christ. We're going crazy today
Listen,
right now.
They have the highest STD rate in the country. There's a reason I said geriatric homes. They're like rabbits.
I feel like I should be muting Erik right now. I
I
feel like
learned-
Speaking the truth, fellas.
I learned a
Go
lot.
ahead, John.
I learned a lot on that. I completely lost my train of thought. I had something I was going to say, and then Erik threw me for a loop.
Apologies.
Yeah, he threw me for a loop too. I
do love every now. I'm totally not this guy. I think we believe science. I know we should reduce carbon footprint. I think it's okay. But every now and then, America does American things, and I still love it. And the fact that France is like, hey, we're going to use geothermal heat and everybody can get along in 82 degrees. And America's like, we're sending diesel generators and 70 air conditioners and y'all can do whatever you want, I think is the most American thing ever.
It's fantastic.
I'm so here for it. It is great.
So here's the real question. If you're an athlete, athletes are the fittest people in the world. So they're all attractive. Step one to being attractive is to be fit. If you're like from England and you're on Team England, are you not trying to hook up with Team USA so you can sleep in that sweet aircon? I mean, right?
I was hovering the mute button because I knew you were gonna go, but it's too funny to mute it. I'm not answering your question. I feel like that is not the question to answer.
The answer is yes. We know the answer.
I let you guys freestyle on a topic, and this is where we go. I've changed the last topic to just talk about the Olympics until we're about done, and this is where we go. I love it. You know,
you don't
what?
like the truth, then mute me.
Okay, I'm muting you.
No,
I'm kidding. Anyway, go ahead, John.
No, it's it overshadows the stuff because what it should really be about is the athletes.
Put that comment up, Noah. Put it on the screen.
We don't have the opportunity very
There
often.
it is.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tim. Tim knows.
The comment is, for those watching at home, answer is yes, Erik, just so you guys know.
I don't think you could put that next comment on the screen, but I like it, Tim.
No, none of them.
None of them. All the comments are banned. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead, John.
No, well, this is a microcosm of the problem with the whole thing. Because what are we talking about? We're joking about athletes hooking up in air conditioning and people shipping generators and air conditioners over and corrupt politicians taking money. And what we're not talking about is athletes who have prepared their entire lives to compete in something they only get the opportunity to do once every 4 years. If you're not playing, some sports are in and out, but if you're not playing like tennis, soccer, basketball, like how often do you get to throw a discus on a national stage? And we're not talking about it. We're talking about who's hooking up with who and who has STDs and who has performance-enhancing drugs and whose cardboard bed collapsed. And like that is not what is supposed to be the focus of the Olympic Games. So I think this is a microcosm of the problem because people talk about all kinds of other stuff instead of the athletes.
By the
way, I agree with you on that. I just think, at the same time, the discourse of all of this, right, is just fun sometimes. It's the spectacle that goes into it, whether it be right or wrong. I mean, we're having a good time joking with the comment section about it, joking with each other. And, we've been talking Olympics basically this whole episode. Go ahead, Erik.
I just want to remind our viewers, if I'm not mistaken, John and I both chose an Olympic medal over a gold medal over a Super Bowl ring, correct?
Yes,
you were the one that took the Super Bowl ring?
Yes. Background wise, that made sense though, because I played football. Anyway, I digress. Any other lasting thoughts, topics you want to talk about Olympic wise before we go into final thoughts and takes?
One more thing. I am a tennis player, so I'm really excited for tennis this year for a couple of reasons, but there's storylines, one of which supposedly this is Rafael Nadal's final season. Not only is Nadal one of the all-time greats, but he's also one of the all-time great people. He is the opposite of Novak, right? I respect Djokovic so much, but you don't really see the personality from him so much. And I'm really hoping that he is back from injury and he can dominate because Paris tennis is on clay. And it's so much fun to watch, and that is his event. He's dominated on clay and Roland Garros more than any other tennis player ever in history. So I'm really excited for tennis this year as well.
John, you got anything else you want to include real quick?
No, but Eric and I are eerily close, even though we're not the same. Again on the last take. If you're looking, is this the hot takes? I'm sorry.
No.
No, we're still just going with Olympics right now.
Olympic free
I
talk,
was letting
baby. It's sex in the dorms. It's whatever you want.
No, I'm sorry. You jumped to tennis, and I thought I missed a pivot to the final pieces. But yes, tennis is an Olympic sport. No, that's it. I'm just looking forward to a good games, and I'm hoping the USA racks up a ton of medals because I'll be watching my counter with all you guys at 4:00 in the morning when we got synchronized diving on and we got a chance at a medal. I'm gonna be rooting for USA just like I am for every other event.
Real quick, I got one last thing I want to say. I'm also stalling because the Lakers are on the clock right now, and if they draft Bronny, I want to talk about it, honestly.
There's no way.
Regardless, regardless. You know what is crazy to me? We're 1 month away basically from the Olympics now. 4th of July is next week. No new Team USA merch out yet. No,
Really?
None of the jerseys are on Fanatics. None of that. I've been waiting to buy stuff just to wear for 4th of July this year, and now I'm going back to my vintage ways or whatever because they haven't updated anything new with the 2024. Probably, I think some of the soccer kits were there, but basketball wise, nothing really there, which was really interesting to me.
I've noticed this in the past when I've wanted a bit of Team USA kit. I don't know if it was swimming or whatever. They do really limited runs too. I think obviously they worry about what's going to sell. I do say I Googled it as soon as you said it, and the first thing that came up is this hat that looked really cool, polo hat, and then I saw that it's $90 for a fucking hat. $90. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
And if you ain't got it, single income, no kids, I sure don't got $90 for the damn hat. But
I mean, for a hat, it's a freaking snapback too. It's not even fitted.
Well, here's not the problem. I actually kind of like it, but here's why that happens too. They get American designers at the top of the line. This is a little bit of a fashion show for the Ralph Lauren's of the world to show off what they can do again, because all of these different countries have their own designers doing it. And I don't know the last time you've been to Macy's or Nordstrom's, but if you buy something that's polo other than a golf shirt, it's going to be $100 just to get out of bed and start the conversation, right? So,
and they make some those opening ceremony kits. Nike makes some incredible. I remember in the last Olympics, Nike's the podium jackets that were athlete only. I tried for the longest time to find the bummiest athlete who was putting their shit on eBay because they were so cool. And I never saw it anywhere, but there is some really cool stuff that comes out for sure. But $90 for a hat, that's some ignorant as the song goes.
I paid $90 for a hat before I paid $1,200 for the jacket. So
$50 for a t-shirt.
Anyway. All right, guys, let's reel it back in. The Lakers did not take Bronny James. I'm not really that surprised, but in case they did, I wanted to get the live reaction going. Let's go to final thoughts and takes. I'm going to go to my final thought and take first because I've let you guys take the reins to start. And no, we're not going ketchup and mustard, okay. So you're okay. You're okay. You can put it back. I had my fun with it. The cheater cheated. Anyway, John Kenzie Noel made his first start in the majors for the Cleveland Guardians today. And my hot take was going to be, before I realized he was in the lineup for the game we unfortunately lost to the Orioles 4-2, was that he was going to hit a home run in his first career game. And he did me one better and did it in his first career at bat. So I just wanted final thought and take. Shout out to John Kenzie Noel. He is another one of my Akron Rubber Ducks when I worked there. Wasn't my favorite player by any means, but he has blossomed into a power hitting machine, and I love to see it for the Guardians. John, you're up. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, I saw that guy come to the plate, and I didn't work for the Rubber Ducks, and I had never seen him before and wasn't familiar with him. And before he even got to the batter's box, I was like, this dude is going to be a 500 home run hitter before his career's over, just because of how he looks. So, yeah, shout out. Yeah. Great first at bat. Yeah, mine going back is a little bit about tennis. Watched a video recently, and if you're looking for a little bit of inspiration, do yourself a favor and check out Roger Federer's commencement address. He gave it to the students at Dartmouth. It was only about 30 minutes, And in 30 minutes, he covered the story of his career and left us with 3 really good nuggets. One, he said, effortless is a myth. You have to work hard to make it look easy, and belief in yourself has to be earned. He said it's only a point. He won 80% of his matches in his career, but he only won 54% of his points. So you can't dwell on every point. You have to master overcoming hard moments. And then he said life is bigger than the court, so stay focused on the big picture and the most important things. His lessons about dealing with failure, self-doubt, becoming the best version of yourself are really useful in sports and really useful in life. So if you have a chance and need a little bit of an uplifting message, check out Federer's address at Dartmouth.
Erik, real quick before you go, for those asking in the chat, you can find us, where all of our podcasts are posted, on our Fanatical Elves page. So with that being on Spotify, Apple Music, that kind of thing. But the East Bank Sports Show also has an Instagram and its own separate YouTube channel, so you can follow us there. Those are where you go. Erik, go ahead, man.
Yeah. So first, I want to just comment real quickly on what John said, because as the resident tennis guy, I agree. Go watch that. Roger Federer is the type of guy that we all should hate, right? He's Swiss. He's charming. He's the country club life, but he is such a good guy that he's actually really, really easy to love. Not that there's anything wrong with country club life. My hot take, I'm actually going to take it back to hockey since John started hockey. I was at a playoff hockey game recently, and I realized I don't really follow hockey. I kind of want to get more into it, but I realized one thing. I think they could just have 2 periods. Lop off that third one entirely. This is hot takes. Lop off that third one. It felt entirely too long. And maybe it's because we were losing and that didn't help. And we were losing bad. It was like 5-1. There was like no hope. I don't know. I was in a suite and I had unlimited food and drink, and I was still a little bored come period 3. And the fact that they like go to the locker room and have 2 halftimes, I don't know. It's just yeah, Tim, I get it. We're talking hockey, not baseball. But like I said, I do. Tim, tell me a team. Who should I follow? Are you a Blue Jackets fan? Give me a team and I'll try to follow them next year. And
Vegas Knights.
Vegas Knights. I mean, if when we have Columbus though.
I mean, well, don't say give me a team to follow and then go, I don't want to follow them. I'm following Columbus.
I'm following the home team, right?
But I want you. Okay, he lives in Seattle. Do they have a?
Yeah, they got the Kraken. That's a great
Kraken.
You know what? I will root for the Kraken because I have a tie to Seattle. I have family. They're not in Seattle, but they're on the coast. Actually, their beach house is on the coast. I know, country club life. Like I said, I don't hate on it. But I'll be a Kraken fan. I'll try to follow them next year, and I'll stick through all 3 periods, I suppose. And yeah.
Got to have a quick rebuttal. You did go to a minor league game, and it was a blowout. If you go to an Avalanche Red Wings game in the 90s or 2000s, or you were in Edmonton for Game 6 of the Stanley Cup this year, you wouldn't be hoping the game was over after 2 periods. Hell, if you went to a regular season Penguins game, you wouldn't.
You're probably right. Why don't we talk about doing stuff like this all the time? So why don't the 3 of us plan next season to, I don't care if it's probably going to be easier to, from what I understand from pricing, to do the Blue Jackets, but why don't the 3 of us go to a hockey match?
I'm down.
And I forgot the one point that I wanted to get across. Not a hockey fan, but everybody out there, you got to go watch Shoresy. It's on Hulu. It's 3 seasons. It's a spinoff of Letterkenny. It's a hockey show. And
all right, so we're going to wrap up the show because Erik was going completely off topic. Erik, I'll bring you back in. Go ahead. I'm sorry, man.
I have to mute myself too, right?
Yeah, no, Shoresy is a good show.
Tim is my man. Tim gets
Shoresy,
it.
I just said it was a good show. That being said, gentlemen, thank you for joining me on another Wednesday night to talk all things sports. We had a fun time talking Olympics. Make sure to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, at the East Bank Sports Show, as well as all the Fanatical Elves Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. Make sure you download the episode if you are listening to the audio. Thank you to everybody who tuned in live tonight. Shout out Tim. Shout out, I forget the name of the other couple commenters we had. We had Infinite. Shout out to all those people. We enjoy the live interactions we get during the show. Helps us keep things moving. Helps us have a good time. And until next time, Cleveland, I always got to say, have a great week.